Welcome to the third day of LITF, that is looking into the future. And today we are talking to entrepreneurs. We have Vijay Varada from Fractal Works, Amartya Gupta and Satyam Chaturvedi from Create Labs. All right. So a little about them. I would like to say that. One sec. Yeah. Vijay Varada pursued his BTech in Mechatronics engineering at MIT Manipal itself. Here, he was part of multiple clubs and was able to foster interests of robotics and automation in himself. Vijay was also part of Robo Manipal, where he eventually was selected as a team head in 2012. He founded Fractal Works in his third year of college with the aim to eliminate the time from concept to reality. Fractal Works received incubation and seed money from Woodbee's Providence and as well as from Hyderabad Angels Fund. Currently, Fractal Works provides 3D printers and 3D printing services as well as educational services. Vijay has successfully implemented 3D printing in COVID-8 and also has manufactured oxygen concentrators to use the same. He has also developed, built, and deployed an open source 3D printable wind turbine in Antarctica while on an expedition with great polar explorer Robert Swan. He's a person who has dipped his fingers in multiple domains, learning and incorporated same in his passion. Coming to Create Labs creators, Amartya Gupta completed his BTech in mechanical engineering from MIT Manipal. He was always attracted towards aerospace engineering, and he was also team lead for Aero MIT. He also worked at IISc as a research intern. After his graduation, he connected to many professors at KMC. He worked as a research intern on designing and manufacturing 3D printed upper limb prosthetics for patients at lower cost. Satyam Chaturvedi and Amartya Gupta were batchmates, and they did a fellowship together at Nidhi EIR. Satyam pursued his BTech in mechanical engineering and has a keen interest in rehabilitation engineering. He has worked on multiple research projects and internships. To name a few, he has been a research associate at Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, where he completed a project related to upper limb prosthetics. At MIT, he worked in the biomedical lab to develop an exoskeleton aimed at rehabilitation and recovery. Amartya and Satyam did a fellowship together at Nidhi EIR to develop commercially feasible upper limb orthosis. Create Labs was founded by them together in October 2020. The mission of Create Labs is to enable people to live their best lives by helping them to recover and rehabilitate. Create Labs is currently working on Mithril splints, a type of splint that are lightweight, breathable, and keep injured limb odor-free. All right, welcome guys to the talk. How are you all?
Hi, thank you. We're all good.
Hi, Akshat. All good.
All good? All right. Okay. So I'll be the moderator for you guys today. I'm Achyut Saxena, President at Mechatronics, and we'll begin the session right now. So to start with, I would like to ask Amartya and Satyam, what is Create Labs about in detail?
Create Labs is essentially the vision that Satyam and I, and we have a third co-founder as well, Dr. Vamsi. The three of us have in creating a new technologically advanced and a technologically leading sphere for rehabilitation in India. And this was actually a vision that is still in the process of being formulated because as we proceed in this entrepreneurial stream, we're constantly learning new things, and that keeps advancing this particular vision. But the broad overview is bringing technology to rehabilitation, making it affordable and accessible. And that's what Create Labs is about. We're doing this through, we just launched our first product about 6 months ago. That's the Mithril splints. We've started with that. And now we're getting deeper into rehabilitation as we've just started our next project. That's an exoskeleton suit as well for rehabilitation of neuromuscular deficit patients. And like this, we're looking at learning more about rehab, working with physiotherapists, orthopedicians, neurophysicians, occupational therapists, and so on. Like basically different healthcare professionals involved in this regard to create affordable and accessible technological solutions for them.
All right, perfect. And now I'd like to ask Vijay, if Amartya, you want to add something? Satyam, you want to add something to this?
No, it's fine.
All right. Okay, now I'd like to ask Vijay, what is Fractal Works really about? What is its mission, vision, and all?
what is Fractalworks really about? All right. So when 10 years back almost, when I was in college, I loved making robots. That really got me off. Like that's why I wanted to become an engineer. That's why I did in college. And around the end of it, got introduced to 3D printing. Just the early days of 3D printing globally almost. And almost sort of it was like a shot in the arm. It took my ability to make and create to the next level. And I have sort of done a lot of things. Again, starting the company and building hardware, one thing, but even apart from that, building the wind turbine taking a wind turbine to Antarctica, working on other accessibility devices using 3D printers. I really wanted to give the access to this amazing technology to as many creators and innovators possible. And I'm not just saying engineers, right? There are artists, designers, educators, architects, and there's innovation everywhere. And I think the core philosophy of Fractal is to empower creation. We empower the innovators of the world. So if you put it as succinctly as possible, we empower creation.
Perfect. All right. So while you guys came to this journey and you are doing really great in your fields, so you might have faced some failures as well, right? Any failures make up a great inventor, a great innovator, and all that. So what would you say that what is the idea that you built upon your company, the failures you faced, and how did you pick yourself after again?
So
Vijay
I think failures, I mean, I wouldn't really say nothing was ever a failure. Everything was a learning experience when something wouldn't work out. It was like a series of course corrections, I would say. I would put it like that, where starting off just as an engineer, I'll tell you, is a handicap. You do not understand business, you do not understand HR, you don't understand finance. There's a whole lot of things. You understand product, you might understand hardware or whatever your core discipline is in engineering. You would understand product to some extent. Maybe again, just after BTech, maybe not that much. You wouldn't be an expert in, say, manufacturing, QA, QC, value engineering, and all. You have basic idea of something, and you might come up with some interesting idea for a product. So I'd say the majority of my time spent in entrepreneurship, and it's been, this June will be 9 years for me since I started the company. It's been just a series of course corrections after learning it. And I think it's not about failure. I think failure is something, it feels like a full stop. But when something is not going right, you constantly keep asking yourself, okay, fine, why is it not going right? What can I do better? Very rarely will something be a full stop. When, say, you get kicked out of your job, you can call that a failure. You started a company and for whatever reason stopped, you can call that a failure. But while in the process where you're in the grind of building a company, it's all a series of course corrections. Something might not be working as optimally as you planned, or something is not working out and you say, okay, this advertisement campaign is a failure, right? But then what do? You sort of keep working on it. You understand, you ask questions why. And that's how so there's no such thing as like a failure as a full stop. So I really think that the definition of failure needs to change. So yeah, I mean, that's sort of my relationship with failure. I wouldn't say that I have failed until now. I mean, there are a lot of things that did not go my way, a lot of things that did not go according to plan. And it's all about understanding why, and asking yourself that, and being mindful, continuously learning to see all of that. And it's also not doing the same thing over and over again. I think there's a quote attributed to Einstein that only mad people do, the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So yes, that's sort of my take on failure.
Right. What would you like to say about it, Amartya, Satyam?
Satyam, you want to go for it?
You can answer, then I will add on upon that.
Sure. I think I mean, exactly what I said. Failure is, if you set out to do something and then it doesn't work and then you stop doing it, I think that's failure. But over here, it's, again, like he said, it's all about course correction, right? things aren't ever going to work the first time around, maybe not the third, fourth, 10th time around as well. You just got to learn from why it's not working and figure out how to make it work. And I think that's the thing about entrepreneurship. It's all about continuously having the patience and the courage to just be like, okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, this is what went wrong. Fine. This is what I have to fix. And I have to just keep figuring it out. Even when your product is out in the market and you might be making a lot of money, it's still not 100% complete. No product is ever 100% complete because you'll always have some demographic of people who will find fault with what you're doing. And if you get hung up on all of those things, then, eventually whatever you do ends up being a failure. So I think this is common knowledge in entrepreneurship. For anything to work, at least 80%, for something to be a success, at least 80% of people need to appreciate it. Right. So yeah, when it comes to entrepreneurship, I think all of us have had our setbacks and our lows and everything, but the only way to deal with failure in this entrepreneurial scheme of things is to be strong in your belief about what you're creating, but flexible enough to take into account why something is not working when it's not working, and take into account any critique that, everybody will be people around you will always criticize what you're doing. Everybody loves criticizing and giving unsolicited gyan. So take whatever is useful to you and just, move on from there, all the while having the belief that I will figure out a way to make this work. And don't ever be afraid to pivot your idea. Don't get so hung up on an idea that this is the only way it's going to work. Because 100% of times, if you start off with an idea, that's probably not going to work. You're going to have to change it in the process. Satyam, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, so as both of them said, one thing was common, that whenever you are failing, seeing that something is going to fail, and you learn from it, and then again you work on the same thing, and you try to make it work, and you try to make the process better by adding from each of your failure and make it as a learning thing. And this is, I think, so common between all three of us, because we have tried to embody it in our everyday work. Every day when you are sitting there are 100 of issues that goes through. Half of your time is going putting out fire. There is some issue in finance, there's some issue with some patient, there's some issue with some customer. So the only thing that is really important is that you are consistent and that you believe what you are doing. Then only you can continue to jump from one failure to making it a success. And that journey takes a little bit time, but when it happens, you really feel good. You really feel that, okay, after 10 failures, after 10 rejection, one person has accepted it. And the way that just make you believe, and then you're like, okay, I'm ready for 100 more. 99 people rejects me. I don't care. I can do more. I can do better. So yeah, so that is what failure is for me also. It's a tool which helped me become a better person. And it is a thing that just makes me better every day.
I think what Satyam is saying is also inspired, because Satyam's taking care of business dev and sales as part in our company. And so, when you're on sales calls, I'm sure Vijay will also attest to this. In the beginning, you're just going to get rejected by everyone. They'll always be like, oh, this thing in the market is better than what you're doing. Why are you doing it this way? And you just got to get through to the first, get your first 10 or 15 champions who are going to use your product. And then you'll see, as the market starts to turn in your favor, all the people, basically all the haters will be like, oh yeah, I saw these guys when they were younger. Yeah, the product's great and stuff. You just got to just roll with it.
All right, perfect. Great answers. All right. So as you see that the curriculum is being updated at Manipal, but also at other universities, but still people are looking for different skills to upskill themselves, and companies require much more skills rather than what is taught in curriculum, right? So what would you say are the current leading skills that one should learn to sustain or to stay in the industry, upcoming skills, as you would say?
In the engineering industry?
It could be even improvisation on soft skills and everything, all over development of a person to get into industry, basically. Any industry it may be. We can talk about technical as well as non-technical ones.
If a very wide answer. If somebody had figured this out, then we wouldn't have a huge problem of unemployment right now.
That's so true.
True.
I can just give my perspective on it.
Sure.
I do, 100%. I do feel and the engineering curriculum is incomplete in many ways, or it is skewed too much about theory, which either is taught in a way in which it's not practical, where you study for the exam and you forget it later on and doesn't really benefit you at all. Or again, because you spend so much time on that, you don't really have time to spend on the things that actually add value. Honestly, the things that people call soft skills today are some of them you could ever learn. A lot of things, even when it comes to sales and marketing, right? I mean, engineers will look down on sales and marketing, but it's I tell you today that more than you are always sales and marketing. Whether you are pitching for an interview for a job, whether you are speaking to your boss about your work, something, you're always having negotiation, you're always doing sales, you're always, or rather using the tactics of sales, of at its core negotiation, right? Using language, the ability to present yourself, the ability to communicate, the ability to present your work. It's very easy to say, "Arey, usne kuch kaam nahi kiya," but like because he was able to make this presentation or talk more, he's gotten a promotion or anything, right? That is not. Don't blame the system. That's how it is. That's how the world works. So I really feel that. It feels weird calling it soft skills because you call it like that only feels like it's unimportant and can be sidelined. But the storytelling, communication, ability to pitch yourself, sales, negotiation, all of that is incredibly important on top of whatever you would learn in life. Engineering, whether science or commerce, whatever you do, I'd say that those basic necessities of communication is very important. And some aspect of psychology also, or just understanding biases, just so that it helps out in decision making. It really, I'd say, comes down to the kind of trajectory that you want in life. You want to be again, this talk is about entrepreneurship, but it really doesn't matter. The world needs people who are hard workers and have that, who will be great employees. And again, there's nothing against that. Everybody is not built to be an entrepreneur. You can achieve major success either working in the industry or working in academia if you're a good hard worker, sincere, continuously learning, continuously applying yourself at your work. That'll be great. You might not need those soft skills as much, but again, it does sort of help out when you are climbing the corporate ladder or you're working in academics. If you're looking at entrepreneurship in particular, those are must-haves. Those probably are more important than your technical skills. Being able to manage people, working with people, is one of the most important skills that you'll ever learn. And honestly, like, you could do without engineering. I'm not sure if other people will agree, but honestly, like, from my perspective, there's certain subjects that I really loved and I still use today. Comes down to some of my electronics and mechanical subjects that help me with, like, for example, CAD design or embedded systems. Some of the basics that I learned over there I apply today, but it did not need 4 years of engineering to learn all of that. Honestly, I could have probably condensed all of that in 6 months. How much, if I take what I used in engineering and just took the important aspects of 6 months, one to 2 semesters is all I would need to actually get where I am today. But again, giving what is more important in college, it's about the friends you make, the network that you create, the relationships that you have with your friends, your faculty. All of that is something that for me it took 4 years to do that, and that is more important what you do in college. Right? There are a lot of people that will go to college expecting to learn. That is not what college is for. It is a network that is given to you, an opportunity to network with people that will do great things in the future. So many people who graduated along with me that are working in high positions in, say, Khan Academy or Tata Motors or Byju's, and somewhere or the other have helped me in the work that I'm doing. So you double down on all of that. So going back to what needs to be updated in the college curriculum, I mean, I would really say that it's more about the perspective that the students have on what is there. You need to pass your exams. All of that is important, but ultimately being able to network with your peers and mentors in college, in my opinion, is the most important thing, and that is already there. And if I have to attest to it, that is something that I was able to take a lot of advantage of when I was in college.
Right. What about you, Amartya, Satyam? What views do you have?
So the question was the skills that you need, right? Like,
The current technological skills or non-technological skills you need to upskill yourself to get into industry and sustain there.
Yeah. So I think Vijay covered the majority of what's needed. You don't you come out of engineering and you realize those 4 years. Firstly, nobody remembers anything that they learned over there, and honestly, in the Indian context, I wouldn't say engineering is useless. I'd say it's a very important 4 years in your life where you finally have the opportunity and independence to think about what you want to do, which is never given to you while you're in school or 11th and 12th or whatever. And very few people capitalize on that opportunity because everybody gets stuck in this thing about placements, masters. If anybody were to ask me, looking back, is there anything I do differently? I'd say I take a gap year after 12th grade or 10th grade to actually think about what is it that I want to do. Coming to the next point, so apart from soft skills, which are actually more important than any of the hard engineering skills you learn, because day in day out you're going to be dealing with people. And I think that's what's got to be taught. Like, how do you deal with people? Be it if you're an engineer, because you're always going to work in teams, right? So how do you work with people? How do you get people to work the way you want them to work, or follow instructions optimally and so on? But regardless of whether you're going to pursue a career in entrepreneurship or anything, the one piece of advice I'd have is start learning to be true to yourself and start asking yourself the difficult question of what is it that I really want to do, and is it okay if I do it? For the longest time, I was hell-bent on getting a master's degree. And I thought that was, like the only way to success. Then I realized that the only reason I actually wanted a master's degree, like the biggest reason, was because of the prestige and it's cool, to go abroad and study and do all of that. Until I started asking myself that, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that will give me joy and give me meaning in my career and in my life? And I really wish I'd asked myself this question early on in BTech, because then it would put me on this path sooner. It would equip me better to deal with whatever I'm dealing with now. So whether you want to, do research or join a company or anything, ask yourself what it is. Learn to accept that, because accepting it is the hardest, because your friends and all are going to be doing different things. If what you want to do is different. Once you accept it, then just be shameless in getting there. You gotta. I mean, every society is out there to criticize each and every choice that you make. So, stay true to yourself and just be shameless in getting there. And the shamelessness is another very important trait. So again, in college, I wish I had put myself in more uncomfortable positions, because it teaches you how to deal with a lot of things. In entrepreneurship, you're constantly dealing with people and weird situations. For example, very often Satyam and I see a hospital, and if you're carrying a product on us, we just walk in. We go to the reception, we're like, hey, can we meet with so-and-so doctor? And you got to put on a face like, yeah, I know him. I had a phone call with him. We sent an email, some shit you got to make up. And for me, I don't like social interactions that much. It makes me very uncomfortable. But over time, I've gotten used to it. And I just wish that I had developed my people skills better to maneuver this market and stuff. So make yourself as uncomfortable as possible, because then when you get out of college and if you're in an uncomfortable situation, you'll probably be the most comfortable person there. So yeah, that's from my end.
Yeah, so I think so these guys have covered all the points. But from my side, one thing which I had in college was which I explored personally and which took a lot of work from my side, which a college would or could have provided me in a better form, was that project which I want to work on to it. So right now in our curriculum, we have so much of studies, we have to do assignment, we have to do these tests. Why not make it a bit more interactive, where if I am working on a personal project like an exoskeleton in a biomedical lab, and I'm like, that project is being done in the lab, I'm working with a professor, I'm working with a team there who can evaluate what all I am doing also. If that can be added as a credit point in my personal my college curriculum itself, then that will be really great, because half the time I was like, okay, I have to work, I have to get my grades also in order, and it gets very conflicted. So if you think about it, firstly, as they said, work on the soft skills, try to be as shameless as you can be, ask yourself this question, what you really want to do, and start working towards it, because you won't get it in one day, 1 week or 2 weeks, 3 months or 1 year. It will take time. But the most problem I have seen with people is they want to do something different, they ask that question to themselves also, they are about to start, but then they fear after 2 weeks or 3 weeks only, they will be like, oh, it's not coming out, there is no result, and they just give it up. And I'm just, it takes a lot of effort. If you ask Vijay and Amartya also, like, every day we try to upskill ourselves right now also, because we know that whatever knowledge we have, or what, every day we are gonna be expecting something new altogether. So we have to start working towards it, and we work every day. Even right now, Amartya do some robotic course online. I do sales courses to understand how to do it in a better way. So when it comes to soft skills and up skills, first of all, ask yourself what you really want to do. Start working toward that journey. Start working on a lot of projects. That is one thing which I will tell you. If you are in college, start investing your time to getting done in the project area, because if you are technically oriented, because that helped me out. Whatever I have learned, whatever I have put into this company is just because of one reason, what I have learned on those projects. It's nothing related to my course. I don't remember half of it, as Amartya said. You can just use it for reference, but at the end of the day, it's just what you have learned. We have been working in this field for almost 2 years. That has made our journey a bit more easy. We are able to talk to doctors. We are able to talk to people who an engineer will be very uncomfortable to talk to. Like Amartya also, like, he knows half the anatomy of the hand. I also know a lot of it, just because of one reason, because we were constantly learning there only. So whatever you want to work in, or whatever field you want to work in, start working on it from now only, and start creating a story about it. And when you get into that zone, when you get into an uncomfortable area, or a company or a corporate, you will start, if you start incorporating this thing that you have to learn new things every day, there also you will go and you will start improving yourself day by day, because every situation will become very different. So the only thing is that you will be able to better adapt to that situation. That is the only thing which happens with us. We are able to adapt better than most of the people. So yeah, that is.
Just to add on, what Satyam said, ability to adapt, that's very important. And just another thing, like, so when I tell you guys, like, you got to ask yourself, what is it that you want to do? There are chances you won't know that. Nobody knows that. You first got to start asking yourself, what is it that I don't want to do? And the simplest example for this is when I was like, it was mentioned, I was in Aero MIT and stuff. I still love planes. I've got my own, RX DX setup. I want to build my own plane and fly it around here. But when I was in Aero MIT, I was surrounded by people who were hardcore aerodynamicists or structural engineers regarding planes. And that sort of pushed me into this field where I also thought that the thing I want to do is a master's in aerospace engineering. And then I started asking myself difficult questions that, is it really the right thing? Like, I took up a thermals minor in engineering in like my third and fourth in RPs. And that was the worst mistake I ever made. Because the minute I took that, I was confronted with subjects that I absolutely hated. And I forced myself to like it because my friends loved it. And I thought that, I got to be on par with them intellectually, etc. And that's when I started asking myself, do I really like this? And I realized, no, I don't. So eliminating the things you don't like will push you towards areas which you feel you might like. And then you got to start trying those out and start eliminating it further. So like even right now, for the time being, I like entrepreneurship. But 5 years down the line, I'll be like, no, I just want to get a farm and be just get into agriculture and grow my own shit. So it's all about asking yourself, what is it that you want to do, by also eliminating what it is that you don't want to do. And that's easier than, you're never going to know what you want to do, what your life's calling is. That you'll only understand when you look back on your deathbed that, oh, this was my life's calling. So yeah.
And I just want to add one more point is, as Amartya said, thermal miner was a big mistake. Amen, Amartya. But the one point which I want to add is, whenever you are making any decision or you are working towards anything, just as Amartya said, just ask yourself one simple question: why are you doing it? And every day, just ask, why are you doing it? Once you realize that, okay, maybe this is something, this is the reason I'm doing it, or this is not the reason I'm doing it, then you will be able to answer it better. It took like almost 10 to 15 times of asking this question. Then only Amartya and I also personally, I think so, Vijay also would have realized how to answer this question better. If someone goes 3 years back and asks Vijay, hey, why do you feel this should not be done that way? He can say it, but now he can say it better because he has gone through this whole journey. So if you started at an initial point in your college or in your life, you will be able to answer or deal it with better afterwards. So start just asking one thing: why are you doing anything in your life? And then you will be able to figure it out. And I'm telling you, it's awesome, because even if we see the failure, or even if we see, someday we are just losing everything and like we are going into a dark pit. Okay, this so much work or so much of negativity is happening all around our company itself or our personal life also. If we know why we started this company, that is the only thing that keeps us going in. Okay, it is hard right now, but I know why I am doing it. I can do it. And then you just do it. So yeah.
Sorry, last point from me. Okay, absolute last point. Also, never compare yourself with anyone. Stop that. Whenever people talk about entrepreneurship and all, they keep bringing up Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and all of these famous, exceptional people. And get it out of your head that you got to be like them. You just got to be who you are. And it trails back to being true to yourself. If you always keep comparing yourself, you're only going to be as good as that guy, and you can be better, right? So if you stick to what you want and like just block out the other people and purely focus on yourself, whether you're an entrepreneur or anything, I think you'll be great.
All right. So as you guys know that apart from the technologies that currently exist, something like blockchain, quantum computing, NFTs, and crypto has come into line. So apart from these also, like, what are the upcoming technologies you think where people can start their area? And I would like to ask this question to Amartya, Satyam specifically, because they are working on Mithril. There are totally new things that they're coming up with. So I would like them to answer that first. And then
so here's the cool thing. Mithril is not a new concept. It's just that we've created it and packaged it as something very novel. For those of you guys who don't know about Mithril, can I share my screen, Achut?
Sure.
And Satyam, just add on whenever you want. Just like take yourself off mute.
Yeah, sure.
One sec. Right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so this is our product, okay? It's these 3D printed, these splints. You guys understand what a splint is? For those of you who don't know, if you get any injury or something, you gotta immobilize that particular area of a limb and protect it. So that's what splints do. And this is Mithril splints. This is the concept that we have, where we take splinting and we add features of, it being breathable, washable, hygienic, lightweight, custom, and comfortable. And these become more important. Like, a regular sprain and all, you're not going to use this. You don't even need it. But say you go in for an operation, or if you have a hairline fracture, you can put these in instead of a POP cast. And wouldn't it be much better to have this kind of product, which you can bathe with, you can eat with, you can do a lot more with it, and it gives you the same strength and function, but greater functionality. So that's what Mithril is. And that's what we're doing in like the medical sphere. So custom splinting and 3D printing of splints people have been doing it for like 20 years. We just figured out a way to make it accessible and affordable to people, so that's also a great solution. So, that's one thing. But if you're looking at the medical sphere, especially 3D printing, because we deal heavily in 3D printing. And I think Vijay would actually be able to answer this better about 3D printing. 3D printing is old. If you're dealing with FDM printing, and if you're an expert in FDM printers, that's all old school. You got to start updating yourself with what's coming into the market and what's going to happen in the next 10 to 15 years. And that's why when people say that 3D printing is a new novel technology, if you believe that, you're very wrong. It might be new to you, but it's not new to the world. And the world has moved ahead, actually. So the first thing Satyam and I are learning is utilizing new methods of additive manufacturing. And there are a lot of them. Then the second thing is, the world is moving to a smarter direction, and automation is everywhere. So especially for those mechanical engineering guys who believe that CS is all but bullshit, right? Like CS is just complete nonsense, and you just sit in front of a computer and get a nice paycheck. While that might also be true, it's not so. If you have those kind of views, you're dead wrong, because everything is interdisciplinary. You got to learn to adapt, like incorporate different areas into your into your area of work, and that's when you'll become a great innovator or engineer. This doesn't just matter for engineers; it works for graphic designers, UI UX designers, artists, anything. You have commerce grads who do better data analytics than comp sci grads, because a job demands it. So regarding the medical sphere, especially rehabilitation, the future ahead is exoskeletons. That's what we are looking at right now, and making it smart. So what we mean by smart exoskeletons is that if somebody is in some village, they can wear this exoskeleton, and their movements and exercises can be not only monitored, but if needed, also controlled by their healthcare professional. If they, for example, imagine here's a spinal cord injury patient who is wearing an exoskeleton, exercising independently, because that's the ideal thing. This person falls, right, while wearing it, because they don't have balance. But the skeleton is able to detect a fall and make that person upright again. So that person doesn't need anybody else to come in and assist them in getting up. So the medical sphere, especially the rehab sphere, is rife with opportunity. And I hope I'm answering your question. I feel like I've gone on a tangent, but you got to start incorporate. My advice would be just start incorporating different areas of learning into what you're interested in, because that will open up a world of opportunity to you.
And as Amartya said, it's really true. Like, we both are mechanical engineer, and we didn't need to do all this. We didn't need to go into the biomedical field, or we didn't need to learn Arduino. We didn't need to learn all those electronics which we did, and it really helped me personally. I will say, like, right now also, I won't say that I'm very good at electronics or I'm very good at coding, but I know the basic of it. Once you start exploring, even if you have any interest in NFT or Bitcoin, I think so you brought that up, or any of these things, you just start exploring it step by step and start learning it. Then only once you understand the basic of it at certain level, then you will be able to implement it better. Second thing is, as Amartya said, right now he talked about Mithril splints, he's talking about exoskeleton, which is the future of a company. We always, whenever we are doing all this, we understand one thing: why do we want to really do it? And this is something which I would say, if you are starting into a new field or you want to learn coding, like for some people, they see coding as a tool to achieve what they want to do. So for some people, I have seen that they were from a mechanical background, but they wanted to create an app. They had an idea. They wanted to just explore it. What is that? The next step. They started reading about coding. They started learning how to develop it in a better way, and then they explored that field, and then they became better at it. Same thing with me and Amartya. We jumped into the biomedical field. We started interacting with doctors. If you have interest in any field per se, architecture, any field, talk to the experts in that field. Understand how you can learn from them, or how whatever knowledge you have, you can implement there. That is how we have been doing this at Create Labs. So for Vijay also, he's saying that he's gonna be working with not just the people who just want 3D printing. He wants to make it as a tool for anybody around India or anybody around the world with not specific to particular industry. How will you do that? He will go and he will talk to that person. He will go and sit with an architecture and understand what all work he does every day, and then he will understand, okay, this is the particular thing he can do better with my tool. When Amartya and I jumped into this, we saw that custom thermoplastic splint is there. As Amartya said, people have been doing it, but we understood each step. Then we realized what is the target we want to achieve, and the target was making customized splint available to all. See, getting the advantages like waterproof, breathable, everything is great. What is that vision that we see with Mithril splints? That is only one thing, that every person around world can have an access to this kind of a product. And how we are doing it? By standardizing it, the process, and talking to those doctors, physiotherapists who use it every day, and talking to the patient also. Then only you can learn it. So if you have interest in any of the field, as you mentioned, you should start talking to the people who are already doing it, and be shameless about it. Just send them a LinkedIn message. Just find them on mail. Just send them a mail. Talk to them. They will talk to you. I'm not even joking.
People love talking about things that they do. Look at the things.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Look at us right now. And I'm not even joking. The more you talk to them, the more you understand what they need is, then only you will be able to come up with an idea, or you will be able to understand, do you really want to do it? And if you want, how can you do it? So yeah, that is my advice for the people who are wants to learn these new technologies or want to get into it. Vijay, you are muted.
Yeah, only one thing I want to add on that. I think something I was attending another talk the other day by this guy called Ankur Variku, a guy from ISB, interesting chap. So he spoke about something. I mean, you heard of the product market fit, right? He spoke about something called the ambition opportunity fit. Now, there are opportunities available in the world, whether you call it in the crypto space, medical space, automotive, aerospace. That's the opportunity available. And then what is your ambition in life? What do you want to do? Do you want to be famous? Do you want to have a lot of money? Those are not ambitions. Again, you don't feel guilty if those are your only ambitions. Honestly, those are pursuits. Those are motivating pursuits, and if that is the only thing that you have, you go for it, right? Again, find the industry that is which will make you most famous or will make you most money, and just go for it. If your ambition is to solve a problem, if your ambition is to, I mean, depending on the background, you might have a ailing parent, and that's the reason why you want to do something in the healthcare industry. If you are passionate about cars since a kid, and you want to do something in the automobile industry. So regardless of what that is, I think it's about being true to yourself, what you want to do, what is your ambition in life, and look at the opportunities that are available in the market, and where is that opportunity ambition fit. And you might go for something that feels lucrative because you have massive FOMO, and everybody is sort of FOMO, fear of missing out. That's the first time you're hearing about it. Everybody's doing it, and honestly, if you look at throughout the year, that's always been the case. There was a time where mechanical engineering was the hot topic, and that was the core branch. In my time, it was with core engineering, electronics, and mechanical engineering. Mechanical used to have the entire seats full. Nowadays, I've heard that most colleges are struggling to get their mechanical seats full. It's just how it works. Again, there was a time where big data was the word that everybody used to use. Then came AI and ML. Now it's NFTs and crypto. This is how the world works. I mean, I'm not underplaying any of those technologies or the game-changing technologies. All of them have massive application, but it really has to come from what do you want to do in life? What is your ambition in life? Where do you see yourself in 10, 15 years? Don't say that I want to be, and in terms of industry. The answer should be in terms of very internal. What do you want? Where do you want to see yourself? Do you want to be a published author in some major field? Do you want to be famous? Do you want to be a famous YouTuber or a TikToker? Or do you want to have a lot of money and you want to retire at 40? God knows, whatever. What is that internal ambition that you have for yourself? And then you look at opportunities that are available around the world and see that ambition opportunity fit. And in all honesty, that is because you have that ambition, the people that you will be pitching to and talking to will see that ambition, and it'll be easier for you to get into that industry or domain, because that's inherently part of who you are. Don't go after things just for the heck of it. You need to have a why, and that why will resonate with people in that industry, and they will absorb you into it, and you will grow in that industry. So yeah, to my answer to that is look for that opportunity ambition fit.
That's very true. What you said, like why. I just want to add one more point. So whenever you are exploring this kind of a field and you are interested in it, the one thing which we have, I think so Vijay and Amartya also have started doing it, because in the starting when we had interest, we worked into it, we have failed in multiple things. For me personally also, I also jumped into a lot of things at one point, and then I saw that nothing came out of it. And I know one thing, the only reason was focus. Because when you see this kind of fab, you are like feeling FOMO, as Vijay said, and you start jumping into it, but you don't understand what you are jumping into. So one thing is, start writing down those interests or start thinking about it every day. Just give 20 minutes to it. It doesn't take too much time. 20 minutes to just sit and understand that field in a better way and start building onto that. If you have an idea, people come and ask me, Amartya, sometimes like, okay, I have this idea. How do I make it work? I just advise them one thing: start writing about it, start exploring. And the third thing is start making a presentation about it. Because when you see that presentation forming in front of you, then only you can see what it is and how you can really make it work. It takes around hundreds of presentations to come up to that final presentation which goes to a pitch deck. And you can ask Amartya and Vijay, they have also done it when applying for funding or just showing it to an investor. It takes a lot of effort. So yeah, start doing that from now only. It doesn't need to be a competition waiting for you. Talk to the people who are lead in that industry. Also, if you guys have any interest in healthcare professionals, you can reach out to me and Amartya. We have been working in this rehab field. So yeah, whenever you feel like, you can have a conversation with us about it. And I think so same with Mr. Vijay also. He will be also open to you guys if you guys have any questions about that. So you can reach out to us anytime.
And I just want to add one thing about what Vijay said about ambition market fit. Also, from Satyam's example, don't follow fads. I took a thermals minor because I was following a fad, and I have regretted it ever since then. I mean, I learned a lot. I learned what not to do in life from that, so that's good. But yeah, also,
yeah, what not to do is also important.
And regarding what Vijay said about ambition market fit, right? I have this. If any of my friends are here on this panel, they'll facepalm with this example. But I have a personal bias against straw companies. Okay, I don't. If you like using straws, it's cool. But I think anybody who uses a straw is just wasting their time, because we don't need straws. You can just drink from a glass. But I saw a straw company make a lot of money, get like a lot of support through grants and through funding, and then they raised like a good amount of money through their Series A. And in my head, a straw is quintessentially the most useless piece of equipment ever. But the founder of that company found an ambition opportunity fit. Whether he passionately loves straws, whether he wants to make money, so one great thing that his company is doing is providing rural employment. Okay, so whether he's passionate about rural employment, the thing that people buy into is ambition. Most often people buy into your ambition. They look at the product second. They look into your ambition first. So if you're really ambitious about something, you find that opportunity, then it shows, and you will make your idea work more often than not.
And to be truthful, like for each of our product, Vijay has printers, we have these splints and exoskeleton. To be truthful, people don't invest in for that. They will always invest for your team. They will always, because they know one thing: if that team is strong, they will make another product and make it work. And that is one thing which I will tell you. If you, as Amartya said, if you have the passion for it, you approach people, be shameless about it, you will get a good response from them. You will be able to learn, and they will reach out to you, because they would have been in the same place 10 years ago. So if you are reaching out to any of those people, they will also just help you out.
I'd like to ask to you guys is about entrepreneurship as a career. Like you guys chose a path from others. People choose higher studies. People choose jobs basically. But very less people go to entrepreneurship until the starting of Shark Tank, of course. So Shark Tank is bringing a revolution, and even our respected Prime Minister made a startup day. So, what do you guys think for entrepreneurship as a career option since you guys chose it?
Honestly, I'm not sure if entrepreneurship is for everybody. The way I got into entrepreneurship was a big fluke. I had dreams of becoming an NASA engineer and studying in MIT and all of that. Somehow, because of Manipal, the bug bit me. Now I can't do anything else in life. I know I can't go back to a job. It's just not possible. It is. I mean, I think goes back to that thing about ambition. That there's some ambitions that only entrepreneurships will solve. You know, I can be. If only money was my ambition, fame was my ambition. Again, there'll be much easier ways to get it than starting up your own company and doing it. In all honesty, but there are certain things that you want to see done in the world that is not happening now, and you want to not only get there, but you want to be the one who takes it there. It's not about, okay, this is somebody else's problem and somebody will do it, but saying that, hey, this is my problem and my calling in life is to execute on this, create a team on this, figure out the entire product, figure out product market fit, figure out how to market it, and that entire experience will make me feel fulfilled. That is what an entrepreneur is. I think it's a great learning opportunity and a great journey, and I think on the grand scale of things, I think no entrepreneur is going to be a failure. Even if you have had a few failed startups or things have not worked, the knowledge and the credibility that this journey brings to you is priceless, right? I'm not again saying against doing a master's MBA is bad. I have friends who've done their MBA, and I know that they're incredibly smart people because of the things that they've learned and they've internalized their learning. Again, doing your master's MBA is very unlike your bachelor's. It is actually things that you can implement in your life. I consult a lot of MBA friends of mine when it comes down to when it comes down to finance, when it comes down to business plans, when it comes down to all of that. So I'm not taking away any of that. But I don't know where I got this quote from, but it defines entrepreneur as an entrepreneur, somebody who can see the future. Not only see the future as a goal, but see the roadmap to it. See what path you need to take to get to that future. And then you inherently know that you are the only one that you can do this, because you see that goal and you see the path and you have to execute that. And that is a very frustrating thing to have, honestly, because it just I've given up so many opportunities that I keep second guessing myself. Okay, fine, fuck. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear over here that I could have made so much more money in just working for this person, or I have several opportunities where I could have sold off my company for a decent payout and become an employee for somebody else. But like I said, it did not fit into my ambition somehow. Like recently, we did a course on innovative engineering, basically getting into e-learning, and that was very well received. And somebody wanted to acquire the company primarily because of that, and basically acquire me and the team and put us primarily on a course creation, video creation agenda. But this is not what my ambition is. I love making. That is the core philosophy I'd say I live. I like to make things with my hands, and unless I get to do that somewhere, it doesn't fulfill me. And ultimately, it's not what I started the company for. I didn't start Fractal for making e-learning videos, but that's part of the solution. Today we are improving the adoption of 3D printing across sectors with e-learning content. So that is sort of the new way in which we are repackaging 3D printers, where we are educating people on design, the software, and the 3D printing and the applications of what you can use 3D printing for. So that is sort of what we're doing now, and I think that is my vision to if that, like I started off, my vision is to enable and empower creation. 3D printing and giving access to high quality 3D printers is just one part of that. I needed to know what are the other jigsaw puzzles to sort of put that in place. I, as an entrepreneur, see that, but that is sort of both a blessing and a curse, because until I get there and until I execute it, I will not be happy with myself. And you will keep second guessing yourself. You will keep saying that, am I the right person for executing this? Do I have what it takes? Oh shit, I haven't done my master's. I haven't done an MBA. These MBA people are telling me that it's not a good idea. Should I listen to them? But ultimately, you as an entrepreneur see something that they do not. And it's very important for you to understand this, that not everybody has that vision. I mean, vision is also a word where it's easily thrown around, but you take it as, as literally as possible. Vision is seeing a path to a goal, and only entrepreneurs see that. If you see that, it's not only about having an idea, but you see a path to that and you think that you can execute that, then you have this contract with yourself to be unhappy for a very long time until you reach that goal. And that is what entrepreneurship is about. But regardless of whether there'll be ups and downs, it's an incredibly exciting journey.
Satyam, go ahead.
Yeah. So as Vijay said, it's 100% true. You get into a contract with yourself, and I'm just gonna do it. However effort it's gonna take, whatever happens, and you will see people falling. You will see people joining in your company who wants to be part of this journey, but after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, few months, they will be like, okay, this doesn't work for me, because they have a different set of priority. For us, when we have started this journey, in the starting, we sat, like for me particularly, what I did was, before starting this journey, I read a book called Before You Start Up. It's by Pankaj Goyal. And that book is really good because it just, in first chapter itself, it says, oh, you feel you will be very famous, or you feel you will be really happy, or you feel people will be after you, and everyone will be just giving attention to you, you will make a lot of money. It's not true. Not at all. You won't get those things in starting. For the starting phase, you have to go through a lot of things. And that book really helped me because it talks about, make a list of people who you can rely on this journey. Make a list of people who you feel can help you out when you will feel very low. Your parents, your family, your friends, your mentors. And as Vijay said, that you need to see the journey, then only you can do it. And that's so true, because for us right now also, for Amartya and I, we get these small wins that, okay, we got some grant, we got some money we made some sales. People ask us, why are we not that happy? Why are we not jumping around? Why are we not so excited about it? And it's all because of one reason, because we are happy, okay, this is done. But we are just like, okay, when is that next step gonna be there? That is the thing. For us now, like 10, 12, 15 lakhs, it feels like small money because we see the things going to bigger places. We get really happy when people use our product. That is something which always makes us happy because we have invested so much time and effort on it. When it comes to signing MOU, NDA with some partners and all, we are happy about it. But yeah, that journey we see for 10, 15, 20 years far ahead, we see that, okay, this is going to be panned out like this is going to happen. This industry is slowly growing into this step by step, and I want to be part of it. So you have to be very true to yourself. You have to see those people who you rely on. You have to give up on most of the things. Amartya and I haven't taken holidays for almost 3 years, which is including our college thesis project. Or after that, we haven't taken any break. It's always we are working. We are on holiday also, but at 10 o'clock there is a meeting. You can't say no to a client. You can't say no to anyone. On a Sunday, if you get a call at 8 o'clock in the night and you are out with your friends, you will pick up the call and you will go outside. You don't have a choice. And this is how that struggle is. You have to give everything to it. And the beautiful part is getting attached to something like that. It's so good. You feel so happy every day when you wake up from your bed. You're like, okay, I am walking towards a big journey. I'm walking towards something big. And yeah, so that's what I will say. Like, just read this book before you start up if you are interested in this field ever, because that will give you a great knowledge and that will give you a great start that what to expect there. And talk to people. That is one thing which for us also particularly we have talked to all of seniors that how should we do it. My seniors have started working have started company in the same field, rehabilitation. We went out to them, talked to them for 1 hour, 2 hours. They told us, okay, this will happen, so that it's easy now. So yeah.
Again, you guys summed it up really well. So I think all three of us sort of ended up in this entrepreneurial journey as a fluke. And I think that's the best part about it, because in asking ourselves what we didn't want to do, we somehow ended up here with something that we want to do. And this is something I keep telling Satyam. So before, my connection with this entrepreneurial journey started when I decided to intern in KMC instead of going to Iceland for my thesis internship. And every time something goes wrong, I'm just like, shit, man, I should have gone to Iceland. Because just imagine 6 months in Iceland, you're getting paid a buttload and you're just like chilling over there. I mean, that's the life. But somehow I always, that's a running joke we have in my office, but I just always get back to this company and this journey that we're on, and it gives me satisfaction. So if you guys ask yourself, do I want to be an entrepreneur? I don't know if that's the right question to ask yourself. I don't know if that question has an answer. I think the question you got to ask yourself is and also, if we weren't entrepreneurs, I'm pretty sure all three of us would have done our masters or been working some job, and we all would have been competent at it. It's not like we're dumb and we'd be useless. So the first thing you got to ask yourself is, do I want to do something that nobody else is doing? Do I have some idea? Do I have something that I want to try out, which I'm not getting an opportunity to try out anywhere else? And if you feel like your answer is yes, then I think you're on your journey to entrepreneurship. For me, because I don't have a straight answer, I'll just illustrate it with my journey. I went into my KMC internship with the hope of gaining some work ex and then applying for my master's in biomed. When the time came to apply for my master's in biomed, I applied for like one university and then I stopped because I was just like, wait, I don't want to do my master's in biomed. Then I spent an additional year in KMC tying up some research projects, and I decided to apply for my master's in product design. Again, I really fucked up my applications. I just applied for like some 2 universities. They were very ambitious, Stanford and MIT, and I didn't get in, obviously. Again, I stopped. I stopped my applications, and when I read my SOPs, I just realized that my heart just wasn't in it. I wanted to get in because it's a cool thing, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do over there. I'm sure lots of you guys are applying for masters, and at the end you have to put, like what you want to do in that particular university and everything. When I wrote my answers, it was all just some vague shit like, I want to change the world and make so and so cool things and all. And that's why when I traced my journey back, and then after my second attempt, Satyam and I published some papers. I finished my fellowship. I did a lot of stuff, so I knew I'd get into a good university, and I started gearing up to like apply for my masters again. And that's when Satyam came to me and he's like, bro, we made these splints, let's sell them. And I was just like, what's wrong with you? I don't want to do this. And he was just like, no, think about it. So for 4 months, there was a back and forth. And finally, because of COVID, I didn't see a point in applying for my master's. I was like, okay, bro, I'll try this for a year. And from what started off as just starting a company to sell splints, it's now become our joint vision to change the rehabilitation sphere in India. And I think that's what an entrepreneur's journey is like, just letting yourself go in the process, and just go with the flow. not in the wrong way of going with the flow, but like let yourself discover this field. And if you feel like you're that kind of person, and most importantly a person motivated by an idea, a goal, something, it doesn't need to be a product specifically, but something that's not being done already, then yeah, I guess entrepreneurship is something you should try out. And at this age, guys, like I mean, see, everybody has their restraints, but I come from a pretty privileged background where I never had any financial situation or family situation holding me back. So I had the privilege to choose. If you guys also have the privilege to choose or the passion to make it through, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to add one more point. For me, particularly, how I started work, like I wanted to start this company just because of one reason. Whatever I worked on in my college year, lower limb exoskeleton, I worked on a jaw rehab device, I worked on a electrolarynx, and then I worked on one more product. And like I was just working on these products. Then I worked on splint and this upper limb prosthetics. And when I was just leaving that splint, at that point I realized, Satyam, it's happening again. It's the same journey. You start working on a product, you make it to some level, you write a research paper about it, then you keep it in a lab and it's there. Oh, something I did in the past. And I was just frustrated by that. I was like, okay, this time we have made a good product. We have showcased it to a lot of people. People have shown interest. It can really impact people's life. What is stopping me? And the answer was only one thing. It's me. I was the person who was thinking, okay, should I just get a job? Should I just get something else? But then I started pouring my heart into it that I am frustrated. And this frustration solution is only one.
This just reminds you of something. Have you guys heard? Oh, they can't answer. Okay, go listen to the song Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. That's like the first thing you're going to encounter when you want to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And that's what really happened for us. For me particularly, I was just frustrated that I'm not going to continue this cycle again and again. I'm not going to do a master, work on a product, again keep it in a lab. This time I have something in my hand which can really work, which can really change people's life. Let's do it. And that's how I started this journey.
The next question would be, as you guys design the product, right? So my question would be that, do you guys design a company around the product or a product around the company? So that is a very subjective question. It depends on the person to person and depends on your research. So what would be your opinion? Should you make a company for a product or product for a company?
I mean, I do not know if it's either. You make the product for the market. So in either case, you don't make a product for the company, a company for the product. You build a product for the market, what the market needs, and make sure it fits. That's the only way. There's no other way to do it. If you're building it for anybody else, if you're building it for building your own ego, building it for your boss, building it for a client that doesn't know what it is, ultimately that product will not go into the hands of the people that will need it. I had the good fortune of talking with our former president, APJ Abdul Kalam. I was showcasing one of my projects to him, and he told me a very interesting story. He told me, you make sure that this product reaches the hands of the people that really need it, and don't stop until you do. And he told me about a story about some carbon fiber composite that they were working with at ISRO. That was interesting and all, but until that composite was then used to make tools for people, children with leprosy who didn't have the energy to pick up this heavy steel metal tools because their hands were deformed. But these carbon fiber tools were a lot more easier to use. And seeing that's when he felt most fulfilled about what he had done, whatever work he had done in composites back then at ISRO. So ultimately, it's about making sure that the product goes into the hands of the people that really need it, and there's no other way to that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I don't really know what to add to it. We had the good fortune of having a product to sell. And we thought, okay, so in the beginning, we thought our journey was going to be setting up a company around this product. but actually the product was just our entry into the market. And now we're setting up our company. Our company is now being set up and the products are being created for the company. So it's a mix of both. The only thing is you enter into this journey with either a company for a product or a product for a company. That's just your entry point. From there on out, it's both complement each other.
Yeah, and I want to add just one more point. Firstly, what Vijay said, you have to make the product for the end user. That's it. There is nobody else involved. If we are making splint, it is centered around two people: the patient who is using it then, and the person who is using it in his profession. If we don't capture both of their needs, what will happen? Maybe the product is too good for the patient, but if this person or the healthcare professional is not able to provide it, then it won't work. So you have to see where is your product used, how is it used, step by step. Every step is important for that. It's not just making a product and putting it out in the market. And this is something which Amartya and I learned through our journey itself, that you have to take care of every person. Because a person who is a doctor and a person who is a physiotherapist, who is a plastic surgeon to an orthopedic doctor, both have a different mindset, both have a different kind of work. You have to make your product to cater their needs also. So that is something which I have learned, that the product should be made in that format. And the company is something which is formed around the vision you have or the journey you want to see at the end. It's not about the product. Our product, Mithril splints, are good, but it is not just about Mithril splints. It's about changing the rehabilitation space. And it gets formed with the person who is forming it. So like if you ask Vijay, some of his qualities are already there in the company. For the same thing with Amartya and me, whatever vision we have, whatever things we want to do, that is formed for the company, not for the product. That company is formed with our vision. It's centered around us and to the need of the people. So yeah, I think so. I don't have anything else to add. If anyone else wants to add, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, whatever these guys said is very true. I was just thinking about this question again. I think you definitely, if you want to set up a company, you need to have something to set it up. So I think that is your product. So you set up the company for some product, be it a product or a service or an idea, whatever it is. But that doesn't define how your company moves forward. So so you got to have, if you guys are thinking about getting into entrepreneurship, you can't just like incorporate a company or some partnership and be like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, this is what I'm doing, now I'm going to wait for a product. You got to have something to get into it with.
So if you had a chance to go back to your 11th and 12th grade, what would you do differently?
I think I already answered this. I would take a gap year, man. And I wouldn't take IT coaching. Whoever's, got friends in IT coaching.
Amen.
I would really take a gap here to sort of think about, like, to try out different things that I was interested in. I would have interned in Bangalore has IISc and a few engineering colleges. I would have sought internships there, got my hands dirty with mechanical workshops and like Arduino and stuff, got an experience with this shit earlier, then entered engineering, I got this bit of advice from a mentor of mine when I was considering starting this company. So before I was going to apply for my master's the third time, I just asked these family friends of mine that, what do I do? And these guys had one thing. They said, firstly, you're very lucky to have a product in your hands that people want. And that's a great point to start a company from. Secondly, you can always do a master's after 3, 4, 5 years. Some colleges may have some restrictions, but you can always do a master's. And the best time to do a master's is after this particular, after this journey that I'm going on, because then I'll have the right questions to ask when I enter my master's. So similarly, I wish that before my engineering, I had done some work or got some experience, because then I'd know the right questions to ask, and then I'd know which stream would be better for me, and I'd be better equipped to handle this degree, overall. So this is something you guys will also notice from your peers. Like, everybody has those overachieving friends. And here's the thing, they're not overachieving, they're just better equipped. I had friends in BTech who'd already set up companies, who were already making money. They already had, products, etc. Lot of these guys were CS guys. But the thing is, they started working with that particular field from a much earlier time. So they were just better equipped to deal with it, and I was just getting started on this journey later. I mean, everybody has their own phase, but if I could go back, I would definitely take a gap year to reassess to get some experience into the fields that I was interested in.
Yeah, I think so. What Amartya said, I would also do that. Firstly, not an IIT coaching, and whatever these soft skills and all those which we were talking, which you asked us, what is that soft skill you should have learned? If you don't get just focus on like studies, IIT, and all those, because it's very time consuming. 6 hours every almost day you are studying for IIT, or you can't do anything else, and people expect you to do. It's not possible. And like get into that whole school, get into those competition, get into those small activities, work on projects. And before getting into engineering, please talk to someone who has done it properly, or talk to like at least 10-20 people and understand what you want to do. Because when I had a different idea about mechanical engineering altogether, and the things I studied here is altogether different. So do that, and explore more things. As Amartya said, just learn more things, just get into that, and increase your skills, increase your soft skills, and just explore it. That's it. That's what I would have done in 11 and 12.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I was lucky enough to do exactly what Satyam said, so I have no regrets. I loved my school. I paid attention. I loved my subjects. I loved physics. I loved chemistry. I think NCERT has great textbooks. I studied in CBSE school, and I was also lucky enough not to be put into coaching. So I put my heart and soul into my school curriculum. I took part in debates. I took part in poetry recitations. I was part of my school's dramatics association. I was an actor in plays, and honestly, all of those sort of helped me out in life later on. So you don't take life too seriously. You're still young. Yeah, I think even if you finish college, you're still young. You have your entire life ahead of you. Even if you fucked up in school, in between, it doesn't matter. Fucked up in college doesn't matter. Even if you're 30, you're still young. There are enough opportunities for you to restart. Honestly, the place where you shouldn't be is where you've built your career in one entire field and learned everything in one field, and then realize that field is not going to survive in the next few years, and it's dead. You've picked something that is going to be replaced by automation and code. So that's a sad place to be. But at the same time, I know a lot of individuals that are there in that place and are reskilling them. So my dad was one of them. He after serving 30 years in the army, he retired, but still wanted to work and reskilled himself, specialized himself in something else, and started working. So I think it's never too late. You can always think about what you wish you did in the past, but what you really need to do is think about the present, not even the future. Make the most of the present.
Yeah, like what he said is correct only. Like one thing I just want to add up on this is that every day, like till my second year, third year, I was also following the whole college. Okay, I have to do this and that. But once I realized one thing, that whatever happened yesterday happened yesterday. The thing which I can really change is tomorrow. And you can really do anything, whatever you put your mind into it.
So last year we had a course offered by Fractal Works, and quite a few of us participated in it. So it was Fractal Engineering, Innovative Engineering, or something like that. Can you please elaborate a little on it?
So honestly, that was a Hail Mary attempt to survive the pandemic for us, where we couldn't sell 3D printers. All schools and colleges shut. There's no movement of goods. We're like, shit, what do we do in life? So basically, we have a lot of knowledge that we've accumulated in the company about building products and taking it to market, right? And we really wanted to see if that philosophy is something that we can impart into the world. So we created an e-learning course around it. And I'm a mechatronics engineer. That has helped me a lot. That mindset of being a mechatronics engineer has helped me a lot in life. Being a generalist has helped me out in life. So I wanted to create a course that, in a nutshell, makes people think or helps people think like how I do, or build product like how I do, from a very systems engineering mindset, from a very generalist mindset, where you are working starting from design thinking about what the market wants and what problems you want to solve in life. Then you go through the skills that you need to learn in mechanical engineering, electronics, and programming. And then finally you sort of tie the knot on the bow with storytelling and presentation. So I wanted to give like a bird's eye view about everything that it takes to build great projects and products. Again, it doesn't necessarily need to be something you sell. It can be something that you can just have fun with your family and friends. So we created a course on that, and a lot of people joined. And honestly, I'm very grateful for everybody who joined, because that saw us through the toughest times of the pandemic during the second wave. The first wave we were able to manage with creating face shields and stuff with 3D printing, but second wave we had to really figure some other way out. And honestly, again, it's also a big lesson where, once we had that course, we had so many people who are not from the design background, or not from, the people who typically use 3D printing to start designing in 3D. You start using CAD software, start actually manufacturing things with a 3D printer, and even reach out to us to buy a 3D printer. And that was sort of an aha moment where I realized, hey, we can't be just a pure play hardware company anymore and wait for the market to grow. We need to sort of build the market ourselves. And sort of now the strategy with Fractal is around building not only e-learning courses, but projects and material that every niche industry that can derive value from 3D printing, whether it's industry, engineering, education, architecture. We'll be creating e-learning courses and project work around 3D printing for them, and 3D printing becomes the end tool that you need to have. You can think about it like we're now teaching people or creating the apps on a smartphone being the 3D printer, which is a general solution, but we are helping people create the applications on the 3D printer that will sort of take up the adoption of 3D printing in the future. So yeah, the e-learning course is also part of our vision. Like I said, empowering creation is the vision of Fractal, and it sort of fits perfectly into that, where I'm not saying I'm married to just 3D printing, but we're looking at everything and all-encompassing solution to make sure every individual has access to the right tools, knowledge, software, technology needed to make innovative products. And this course is sort of part of that. And so if you're interested in taking up this course, reach out to me. You can reach out to Mukandan or Akshut. They will give you the details.
So Satyam and Amartya, you mentioned something about not taking a break for the past 3 years, right? So can you elaborate on how you didn't experience burnout, or how you dealt with burnout?
I think we're burning out all the time. There's no, oh, I burnt out today. It's like constant burnout. You just got to create pockets of time in the day when you just recharge. So for me, I like running and cycling and playing football. So I have a bunch of friends. We play football like 3 times a week. I try to run as much as I can. And it's all about just compartmentalizing your time and dealing with your burnout. So even during the day, so I've started this terrace garden of mine. So even during the day, when things get too much and you reach this boiling point where you just can't deal with anything, I go up, look at my plants, water them, think about what I'm going to plant next, and it helps. Come back down. Like, so you just pick yourself. You're in like this melting pot of shit. Pick yourself out of it. Go do something else. Get your mind out, and then you come back into it. And that's how I deal with burnout. Also, this is something which goes for, like, if anybody is thinking about entering entrepreneurship, mental health is something which is it takes a toll, because you're not just dealing with your company, you'll also be dealing with like a lot of issues and things. So creating healthy mechanisms of dealing with it is very important. And whether it's therapy, friends, exercise, whatever it is, you got to find something that fits for you. And don't get scared of your burnout. Just embrace it, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like a marathon which you are running, and you have to recover while running only. When people run for a long time, they just have that recovery period, like recovery run it's called, and it's at a small pace.
No,
And
it's your
that
fast and up, bro. Mid marathon, you have a fast and up. No, like some lime water, something they'll give you. That's what it is.
Yeah. So the thing is, like as Amartya said, like we make these small pockets, and we have this in our head. Okay, that again, this is work, this is personal life. This is a small differentiation you make in between your life, and you try to focus on that. Second thing is talking to people. Whatever bothers you, whatever is happening, you talk to people. Let it come out, because you can solve it in an easy way instead of keeping it inside yourself. Because when you are working on this kind of a journey, you are making this kind of big vision you want to follow. If you keep on like keeping everything to yourself, it will become a very big issue. For me personally, if I have any problem with any of my teammates, I just go and talk to them. So at that level, that is sorted. When it comes to burnout, I have my own mechanism. Sometimes I just tell Amartya, sorry Amartya, I can't work today. So I take a half day where I just do something for my own self, and then I get back into it. And then you start also enjoying the small things. Oh, I woke up at 5 o'clock. That's an achievement today. So yeah, that's how you keep up with the burnout. You just keep seeing, firstly, focusing on positive things, how it is growing, whatever issues you are having, trying to deal with it in your day-to-day time as easy as possible. Don't keep the ego thing. And I think so that's how I deal with my burnout.
Get a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever suits you. That also helps.
Yeah, that's true.
I think my relationship with burnouts is a little different. I mean, when I burn out, I know what it means. Like you feel like you're burnt, and my recovery it takes months after this thing. So maybe it comes with some amount of time where you like, for me right now, my mental peace and my, like Amartya said about mental health, right? I that is paramount. I will not compromise my mental health for anything. In the morning, if I do not put in my session of a workout, I will not go to work, no matter how much who's calling. I will say no to people. I will say no to clients, because unless I am performing at my peak, unless I am mentally present, I know I will not put the best work out there for people to, and ultimately it's about doing what is essential. You don't have to. I think I have one sticky note right here, like on my monitor. It says, delegate any task where you're not adding value. If anything comes my way where I don't have to do it, I will delegate it. Even though I know I can do it really well and I have experience in jo bhi hai, I will give it off to somebody who can get it done. I will not touch it, and I will not follow up. And even if that person fucks up, I will give them the room to learn from that. And this comes from some amount of maturity that I was like that. I used all-nighters, this, that, when I was 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, I had all the energy to do that. But I'm almost 30 now. I don't have the energy, and just a downward spiral. It's just going to get worse from here. So I need to figure out, what works for me today, and it's not, burning. I am trying to avoid burnout as much as possible. I need to live a healthy life every single day where I feel calm, fulfilled, at peace. And I've seen that manifests itself at work, with the people that I work with. And that is very important. And that probably will come from a little bit of maturity when you yourself feel that you just don't have the energy anymore to sort of push. You have your limits. And there was a time that I used to sleep 4 hours a day for months together. And I was able to, I don't even when I was in college, I used to sleep inside MUT wala building. I used to survive on maza and chicken puff from next to Omzorok's auntie. And basically that's all. I used to peak performance after that. But you can't live like that for too long. And especially entrepreneurship. I mean, there are certain industries where the turnaround cycles are much faster, but in certain industries, it will take years, and you need to really take care of yourself, and you need to put yourself first. You can't be a martyr. You're not. There's nobody who's going to praise you for as a messiah if you burn out and I don't know whatever happens after that. But ultimately, you need to take care of yourself. You need to eat well. You need to sleep well. You need to get yourself in the right mindset to be able to put out your best work. And do not confuse number of hours for effectiveness and productivity. You can be taking just one decision a day, work for 1 hour a day, and still be productive than people who work throughout the day. Today I understand the reason why a manager exists. A lot of engineers will hate managers, saying that, hey, this guy will just sit around and not do anything, and he'll just tell me what to do. But knowing what to do, what is important, what is essential, is incredibly important. And you need to sort of become mature enough to know that the best way to deal with a burnout is not have one. That is my philosophy now.
So we have a few questions on our YouTube channel as well on the live chat, but due to time constraints, we won't be taking them as of now. We'll get back with the speakers and we'll reply to them on our YouTube comment section as they have been asked through our account. And we would like to request that the speakers are there on LinkedIn, on various platforms. Their websites are there. You can surely get in touch with them. They are great, inspiring people. And we are really glad to have them from our college, so that we also get the encouragement to go towards entrepreneurship, to develop new things, to get new things working, and not lose hope while we are on our way, so that we can one day make as big as them, or maybe surpass them at times, because they are budding children with us, like they're school students and stuff. So maybe they'll also learn and all. So that was all from my end. It was a great session. I hope you all also liked it. What are your views on it?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and all the best for your journey.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All the best.
Thanks a lot for being here. I wish you a really good night, and see you. We would like to request you to like, subscribe, and follow our channels on social medias, and we'll put up our the social media channels and the websites on comment section for the speakers as well. Thank you.